I'd like to call the Raritan Millstone River Flood Control Commission, June 25th meeting at 7:10 in Franklin, and I'd like to welcome everybody. Open Public Meetings Act, Anne Marie.
In accordance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, be advised that adequate notice of this meeting of the Raritan and Millstone Rivers Flood Control Commission was made by the posting on the bulletin boards in the participating municipalities and transmitted to the officially designated newspapers a list of dates annually indicating that this meeting would take place at the Franklin Township Municipal Complex, Council Chambers, 475 Demont Lane, Somerset, New Jersey, on Wednesday, June 25th, 2014. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file of the Office of the Municipal Clerk in the Township of Franklin.
Roll call, please.
Bridgewater. Franklin.
Here.
Hillsborough.
Here.
Manville.
Here.
Millstone.
Here.
Montgomery.
Here.
Rocky Hill.
Here.
Somerville.
Here.
Southbound Brook. Raritan. Somerset County.
Here.
We have enough for a meeting. Total there. Can we have a flag salute, a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Little prayer that I hope for a very beginning, as you know, the end of May, beginning of June is the beginning of the hurricane season. Let's hope prayer for a real quiet season this year. All right, introduction again. Once again, we have a couple ways to contact us: at our Gmail account and at the RMLRFCC. We also have our Facebook account, and we have our brand new webpage I had up there. It's quite a ways on the way. We have a little ways to improve it totally, but again, I'd like to compliment the team that put that together. The cost was minimal, and Rutgers University and Allison, great job. Again, I want to say we will use that to communicate more out to people, and we're learning as we get along with it, but it's a great page. The phone number, again, 406-359-6365, Flood NJ. Our next meeting is September 24th. It's in Mammalboro Municipal Building, 7 o'clock, and that's our yearly review. So hopefully we could have a good turnout of the representatives and the organizations, so we can have a review where we stand and where we're going for the next 12 months. And there's our officers and paid positions. So now we go off to the Secretariat's report, approval of minutes. We should have gotten that in the email, and also they will be posted after approval on our webpage. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes for May?
Make a motion.
Somerville makes the motion. Have a second?
Franklin?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Correspondence. Over the last month, we've had mostly email correspondence, some phone calls. Senator Bateman with NJDEP, Army Corps of Engineers, Senator Booker's office, most of our Assemblyman Chitterelli's office, to try to do multiple things. One is to get the bill passed down in Trenton for the creation of a basically basin-wide flood commission. The good news, we just got the email today from Assemblyman Chitterelli. It has passed as of June 2nd. So the good news is the creation of the commission is done. I guess now we have to wait for them to reach out to us, and we have to populate it. Like I said, it was 2 representatives from the Flood Commission, 2 mayors from Somerset, 2 from Hunterdon, NJDEP, Army Corps, FEMA, and representatives throughout the basin will be on it. Hopefully we'll have more information on that in September when we get back together of that creation. But that is very good news. And we were a little part of that. We sent a letter out about a month ago, 2 months ago, and went out to every senator and assemblyman to say that we supported the bill, and I think we're a little part of helping that get passed. But the main thing with the communications over the last week has been with the NJDEP, where we stand with the studies and everything with the Army Corps. Army Corps here will go over that, and we'll go over more of that later on. But those have been most of the correspondence for the last 30 days. And the last one, of course, was the American Water. They've reached out to us about the grant money. Treasury report, Kevin.
Sure. There's a couple claims that we have to approve. The Bella Singer Martinez, which is our legal counsel, for $160. And the Perkins Partnership, it reads 200, that's 2,000, actually. That's the contract we have with the Perkins Group. That's as per contract. And then Amory's secretarial fee for the second quarter of the year at $600. I have those 3 checks with me. Do you want to take a motion now for that?
Yep.
Okay.
Can we have a motion to pay claims for payment totaling to $2,760?
So moved, Franklin?
Motion, Franklin, I need a second.
Montgomery?
Montgomery, second. Roll call, Anne Marie, for its money?
Franklin?
Yes.
Hillsborough?
Yes.
Manville?
Yes.
Millstone?
Yes.
Montgomery?
Yes.
Rocky Hill?
Yes.
Somerville?
Yes.
Somerset County?
Yes. And then continuing to report on the Finance Committee side, basically, we're getting all our dues in. Somerset County, we did exchange the purchase order, so probably, I don't know when the next freeholder meeting is, but usually that'll meet their claims. And then Amory has told me that Franklin, being the only outstanding municipality, that she's processed the payment yesterday. So we're as far as dues-wise, we're in good shape.
Excellent. I guess a motion to accept the Finance Committee report for the month of June. Can I have a motion for that? Hillsborough, can I have a second?
Millstone.
Okay, is there money involved in this balance? Yes. Roll call for that.
Franklin?
Yes.
Hillsborough?
Yes.
Manville?
Yes.
Millstone?
Yes.
Montgomery?
Yes.
Rocky Hill? Somerville?
Yes.
Somerset County?
Yes.
Motion passed. Thanks, Kevin. Legislative Committee report, Dan.
Our intern has graduated from Rutgers, has moved on, received a job in St. Louis. I think it was a great experience for him, a great experience for us. He worked very diligently, got us a lot of good info, working with the website committee right now. We're going to start slowly adding that information to the website, and it's a beginning. There's a lot more to it. So the neat thing is we have a base, a good foundation, we can only add to that. We're also becoming more aggressive with setting up meetings with our representatives, and also we're going to start sending out letters again, much like what we did last year, to get some more attention. If anyone has any ideas, suggestions, or contacts, we're more than open to listen to them. And that's all I have.
All right. We had also that went with the Perkins Group. She has been helping us also try to reach out and contact. Of course, now we have the PowerPoint presentation at the last meeting in Dukes Estates. We have showed that to the Freeholder Board already. We have showed it to the public at our meeting. So we are planning to send it to every town. After this meeting, I'm going to send the copy of that to every town. So every town in Somerset County, not just the Flood Commission town, so they can see the PowerPoint presentation and the impact the Flood Commission has and where it plans to go with it. So, and the Perkins Group is also helping us get into the meetings agendas, especially for the senators. And we really need to set that up. We've got a conversation going with them, We just got to get on their appointment book, which is, we're finding out very difficult to do. But we do have a contact at Senator Booker's office, and it looks like we're getting very close to get a meeting with him, which is good news. Hopefully, it will be over the summer, before our September meeting. But the Perkins Group has been a tremendous help getting our PowerPoint together and also getting our alignment together to present when we do meet these representatives. Good example is Dan and the data we collected. If we have the data and present it to them, say when a storm hits and 80% of the town has been wiped out. When this storm hits, 70% of the storm gets wiped out. When you start seeing numbers like that, when these storms hit, I think it hits home, showing that it's just not storms and numbers, it's actually hitting people's lives. So I believe this over the next 2 months, we should really start getting aggressive again, Adam. But again, if anybody has any contacts, any leads that will allow us to contact our representatives, please send them to us. We'll be grateful to get that. The engineering committee, Carl, again, I was hoping that we'd get you busy. Looks like it's gonna be another month or two before we get the group going. Once we get the release of data from NJDEP, hopefully we can have a meeting with them and the engineering committee, so we could have our opinions of what is the positive and negatives in their plan. And we're gonna go into that a little bit more later in this meeting. Hopefully we'll be a little bit almost proactive in this, that we'll be sending them questions even before the decision is made. But yeah, Carl, once we get that, hopefully we can get meeting going, and hopefully we get some insight of our opinion sent back to them. Is there any other topic from engineering side? I know did the Somerset County Hazard of Waste send out a new updated report dealing with flooding? I thought I heard a town, I don't know, was Gary from Manville told me a new one was sent out, or was just an update?
That I'm not familiar with. I did find out today that FEMA has updated the flood insurance studies for Somerset County, and we should be seeing those in about a month.
Okay, and then we could add them to our webpage.
Yep.
That'd be great. Thanks, Carl. Public relations and communications, Allison?
Let's see, basically seeking more volunteers. Again, if we want to do anything this summer, the 4-H fair, it's 3 days. There's 12 hours each day, but we can break it up into shifts, so if anybody can just show up for a little while, we'll see what we can do. But we would probably be in the county tent.
County tent? And be like on
It's,
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
it's either Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or, okay, I thought it was either
All right,
Tuesday,
so
Wednesday, Thursday.
I'm available Friday, so
Okay.
you can put me in down for Friday.
All right.
So we'll see if we can get a table and some
Well, let's
information.
see if we can get a couple of people lined up, and, I mean, I'll get in touch with them and like,
Okay.
can we at least do brochures, and then if we can have the presence there, it's a little.
Yeah, if we can have a power computer with the PowerPoint and stuff.
Something.
Okay. And also,
And then, yeah, there's the duck race in Raritan will be coming up right around our next meeting.
okay,
So keep our ears out for that. That's just 1 day obligation, only a few hours, so again, volunteers.
yeah, me and Dan did it last year, and you helped us out.
Well, I
It was
visited.
great. It was really good. We met a lot of people that
Yeah.
day. Also, the three other areas dealing with the webpage, basically, we have to get the PowerPoint presentation on it. We got to figure out how to do that,
I need that in a movie format.
a movie format.
Yeah, I can't do a PowerPoint
Okay.
with the cell.
Send me the movie format, and we'll get you the.
Well, it's one of those things where we have to work with setting up the YouTube account,
Okay.
and then it's a video to YouTube,
Okay.
and I embed it.
Because we have two parts of that PowerPoint. We have the visual, and then we have the pictures with the music, too. So we'll set up two of them. Also, you're right, other comment is set up a YouTube connection to the webpage. And the last is the update of the agenda in the minutes,
Yeah.
and you can work with Anne Marie on that. Okay. That's all I had for that. Once again, any updates, or anybody has pictures or anything updated for the webpage, get it, Allison. We would like to keep this fresh every month, something new, pictures and everything go out there. All right. Public relations. Okay. monthly status report from the Army Corps of Engineers. Robert? First off, I want to thank you for coming. I know you're extremely busy, and it's a long haul to come out every month to our meetings, but I appreciate it. You keep us up to date. Without your information, we'd be in the dark, and I appreciate it tremendously. If you want to go... is there a mic-
Up on top there?
Up top there, yeah, on the corner, that way everybody can hear you.
Okay, at the last meeting, I informed everybody that New Jersey DEP had asked us to provide a 10-year non-structural plan. And what that is properties that are impacted in a 10-year floodplain. They wanted us to identify those structures, come up with a cost, and an economic analysis. We have provided that to DEP. That was provided on June 10th of 2014. Basically, what they're doing now is reviewing that final plan. It's another alternative besides the levee floodwall plan, the channel plan, and the non-structural plan that we previously provided, which was at the 50-year level of protection. So now, I think the next step will be is after they review that plan, and I've been told that they're currently looking at it, this additional plan that we provided, they will probably want to have a meeting with the executive board. So in other words, it'll be New Jersey DEP, USACE, and the executive board in Trenton, New Jersey. As far as when that will take place, I don't know. That'll be up to New Jersey DEP to inform us as to when they want to hold that meeting. And that's basically all I have right now at this point.
So you're in a very much the same predicament we are. The ball's in NJDEP's
Yes.
court right now.
Yes, they have all our plans right now.
They
They
have
have the
everything.
costs, they have the economic analysis. Unless they come up with another comment, unless they're looking for additional information, they should have everything that, to date that they've requested.
Okay, so basically, what they're looking at, once again, is they have the three basic plans, plus they have...
Plus, they have this 10-year non-structural plan, properties affected in a 10-year floodplain.
Okay. And once again, they could take all of one plan or pieces of any of the plans and come back with us of what they...
Right, and then if they do that, if they tell us to mix and match, then we would have to, and if they tell us to take their structures into consideration, because they have the Blue Acres program, we haven't taken the Blue Acres program into consideration. We haven't looked at those structures. If they tell us to take that into consideration, then we'd have to sit down again and go through another iteration. It took us about, I'd say, April, May, a little over 2 months to come up with this iteration. So every time we sit down and we have to go through an iteration, it takes some time.
Okay.
But, so now we're just basically waiting on New Jersey DEP to come back and identify the next step, or to sit down with the commission and USACE to let you know what we've accomplished to date and what our results are to date.
So basically, we're in the same boat. It's terrible to say that we don't know at this point. Until they release the data, that's the first chance that we have. We'll sit down with them.
Right, but from what I understand, the data would be released in a closed-door meeting between us, the executive
Exactly.
board, and them.
Before it's officially...
In Trenton, yes.
And then we would set up a full-blown meeting...
Yes.
To have the whole, say, if it was...
Well, to go over, to have the data released to the public and to accept comments from the public as well.
And we may need to know that ahead of time, because if we know that, we may get more people. We'd like to, if we know when we're going to get that, I'd like to get it in the papers, and maybe
Yes.
have maybe a larger room, maybe get like a Manville High School auditorium. So
right.
we could have enough space to have...
Yeah, I mean, we would probably have it like we had in September, where we would put
Exactly.
up the posters,
Exactly.
and then we would basically explain our results, the costs, and the economic analysis. But that's something that we need to do with the board and New Jersey DEP, because I'm not sure, they might have other plans. And then, you might come up with other suggestions that you might want us to look at before we go public. I don't know, we'll have to determine that.
And we're very lucky we have engineers on the commission, which
Correct.
give us a huge advantage to
Right.
show the professional...
Unfortunately, this does take time, the back and forth, and then having to go through reviews at DEP.
And also...
It takes time.
It always goes back to the cost ratio.
The benefit-cost ratio and the benefits, that's
Yeah.
right. We have to look at properties that we're protecting, the cost of the project relative to the benefit pool that's behind the project itself. So if they're starting to take structures away, and we keep the project as it is with the current alignment, let's say it's the levee flood wall, then it would make it even
Harder.
worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
And that's why I
Yeah.
think if that Plan D or Plan E, where they take pieces, may be where they work in with that Sandy relief money,
right.
so. All right.
So I'm thinking what they're doing right now is they're probably looking at, they're looking at our 10-year non-structural plan to see how it correlates with their Blue Acres program.
All right, anybody else on the commission have questions for the Army Corps? How about in the audience? Anybody have any questions? If you do, please come up to the mic, address. If not, I just want to, again, thanks, Robert, for coming. This meeting was planned January, February to be the NJDEP and the Army Corps, hopefully to present the overview of the numbers. We thought by then the numbers would be out. Robert came, the NJDEP could not make it today. I did reach out to Senator Bateman. He reached out to NJDEP with our concerns of getting a representative here to listen to us. So we're going to be a little bit proactive, where we're normally have a presentation. What we're going to do is do a roundtable of questions to the audience commissions, get every question we can think of, put them on paper. We're going to send them to NJDEP, to the senators in the assembly, to show them and expect to have a representative here by September, our September meeting. So we're not going to wait for the September meeting for them to show up. We want to try to get as many questions, get them on a paper, send them to the NJDEP and our representatives, so by September they'll know what the questions are. I mean, I have tons of questions too. So, Robert, you can stay up here for now and
No problem.
and help us with this if you
Sure,
have
thank you.
questions.
Excuse me, Chairman, I have a question.
Sure.
David, or Robert, are we on schedule for September? Is that,
Well, I guess it depends on the New Jersey DEP.
so
If they're telling us that we can release the results
That's
in
what we want,
September,
right? Yeah.
then yes, we will be on schedule. But right now, we're waiting on New Jersey DEP to complete their review of our results.
have they given you any indication that that's going to happen before September?
No. They have not given me any indication.
Where did
From what I understand, the next
That's
step,
where we were, as we said that.
Okay.
from what I understand, the next step would be a meeting between USACE, the executive board, and New Jersey DEP in Trenton.
So-
I don't know what that
We're
date
going to be a
is.
little more proactive. We're going to try to suggest the end of September. We're giving them, they have all the information. Everything's there.
Right.
We're giving them 3 more months to put it together, hopefully have an answer by the end of September.
Right.
And with I think what we'd like to do is make sure there's no scheduling issues when we're planning that particular.
I think if you come out, I mean, it's late September, right?
September 24th,
All right, so.
in Manville.
As long as you get that out to DEP, and you get it out now.
Yeah, that's what we're
Okay.
trying to be. I think the main thing we want to do here is get our questions, be very upfront with the DEP, saying we have a meeting on the 24th. The meetings is our review meeting,
Right,
and we would like, if you can't give us the detailed information, we expect an overview at least, where they stand. Because I think that's what everybody in this room would like, is you've been upfront with us saying this is where you are at now.
Right.
We just need them, at their side of the room, saying, yeah, this is where they're at.
Right.
All right, so instead of presentation, Emery has the whiteboard up where we're gonna have questions together. And what we'll do is, if you have questions that you want that we will put together, that we'll send to NJDEP, we'll gladly add that. There may be duplicates, there may be questions. So the main thing we want to ask is, dealing with the DEP and the Army Corps and what is the study and what's going on next. I'll start, I'll put the first question I know out there is, what are the next steps for the NJDEP, Army Corps of Engineers, and the Flood Commission to get this study out for the public? And the second one is, what is the impact of the Blue Acres, NJ Blue Acres buyout having on the study? Commission, any other questions that you think off your head that we want to ask them to have answered by the September meeting? Okay.
If you can't meet with us on September 24th, when can you meet with us?
I mean,
What day works for you?
I don't, well, we,
If we can get an answer,
yeah,
if they say 24th, then it's another month.
well, yeah, it's another month. We don't want to, because that's, the key right now is what we want is, we don't want to give them another month.
Right, so if they can't do the 24th, what day can they do in September?
Right, in September.
Yeah.
Can you add that? If you can't do September, when can you meet with us in September? That way, they might say January 2015.
Right.
Any other questions that we think are out there? Yes.
Just a suggestion, maybe instead of saying in September, instead of pigeonholing them so much before the end of the year, no?
No.
No.
No. We've been doing this for years now. That's one of our problems. We've been doing this, this is the first time we're actually getting commitment. And I think even the government is starting to realize, the study with the assembly, they voted, they put a 2-year window on it. It's got to be done in 2 years. So I think they're even realizing that you can't let these things go on forever. You got to have an end date. And I think that's where we got, the Army Corps gave me information in January, February. We assumed April, May, maybe June, and that's why we created this meeting. So now we're not there. So end of September, yeah. And we're not saying they're going to make September. We're hoping that they make September.
So that would be for the public.
That would be for them to give an overview, right?
Right.
So I think we need to ask, how soon can they meet with the executive board of this Flood Control Commission and the Army Corps?
That's a good question. And if the public has questions, just come up and state your question, and that way we'll add it to the list.
What kind of criteria are they using to judge the study? Do you know that?
It's the Army Corps studies.
I know, but what kind of criteria?
Oh.
How are they grading?
As far as, what do you mean by, you mean New Jersey DP, how are they,
What criteria are they using to rank their plans in their?
that's a good question.
Question, yeah.
I mean, I guess they look at their budgets, but that's a good question.
Who will lead the effort when the decision is made? Who leads it at that point? Does the Army Corps, NJDP? Who leads?
When the decision is
When a
made,
decision is made. The steps after it, okay? We've made a decision.
as far as the results come out,
Right,
now, these results come out, and I'm assuming you probably have comments on it. The board and the public will probably have comments on it. Okay, we have to respond to those comments, USACE.
so the NJDP, the Army.
USACE has to respond to comments, public comments and the comments from the board. Well, in coordination with the local sponsor. It's always because they're our partner.
Okay. I guess the question, after the study is decided, how much?
After the outcome of the study?
Study is decided,
Right.
how much additional funding is needed?
Well, I guess it depends on what the outcome is.
Absolutely.
Okay. That all depends on what the outcome is.
Right. So, I mean, because if, I don't know how much money you have left in your budget, they come back with something and say this, and you don't have enough money.
Right now, I'm actually ahead we've spent most of the federal, we're in parity right now, because it's 50-50. Right, and I keep track of that. So what happens is now we have a slug of, and I don't have the number in front of me, but we have maybe it's 600K, I'm just taking a guess off the top of my head. We do have non-Fed funding remaining that we have to start using.
Right. So the concern I have is
Okay.
they come back with a study and okay, you need $2 more million to get it done. So once again, we're gonna have to start,
Well, I don't think it would be
okay, you have a better feeling.
that magnitude.
Okay.
I don't think it would be that magnitude.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're within the ballpark for funding wise.
I think right now for funding, we're okay.
Okay.
We're okay, yes.
Okay.
I'm not too concerned with the funding right now. We have a slug of non-Fed money that we still have to use.
But what about a timeline
Right. What is, okay, good question. What is the timeline
for completion?
for completion of like, what
study.
is the next?
Of the project.
They give you the study. Can you tell us?
You mean when we come up with a
Okay.
decision?
They
We
come out, they decide this is a study. What's next?
Okay, well then, yeah, then I'll have to develop a schedule for completion of the study at that
Okay.
point. Once we sit down with DEP and a decision is made, okay, that's when I develop the schedule to complete the study.
Okay.
Because right now, I'm showing the study being completed in 2017,
And it could be-
okay?
And it could be done quicker than that, right?
I would think so, yes.
Definitely.
Okay.
Okay. So we're ahead of schedule, we're ahead of schedule now. If they come back to study, they give it to you, you have to do a detailed
We have to complete the feasibility report.
feasibility, and then
It's
you
the
have to complete
feasibility
the study.
report. We have to complete the feasibility report. So we won't, I mean, that's a good question, you could put that down. And, but we won't have the timeline until we come up with a decision as to the path forward. Once we come up with a decision as to what the path forward is, then I can develop a timeline for completion of the study.
When will we know the cost of the project? To do what your study says?
That's fine, you could put that down, eh?
That should be,
Well,
Yeah.
we have to identify what the project is.
right,
Right.
okay.
That's the feasibility study, right? That's why we
Right.
have a feasibility study, which
Which turns into the project.
plan is viable. Once you select a viable plan, then you come up with the project cost, construction cost, feasibility level, construction cost estimate.
And then I guess my question would be then, once that project is decided, what is the timeline for completion?
Right, but that,
But I mean.
no, but that was the question that was answered before. We won't know that. Yeah, that's fine. You
Right,
could put that down.
but let's be proactive, so
Right.
once we get there.
Yeah, once we identify the outcome of the study, what is the timeline for completion of the feasibility report?
But no, he's
No,
saying,
the
when that's
project.
decided, actually the project,
The entire
the
project.
30-year project.
That's actually a difficult question because it depends on the
Absolutely.
funding that Congress provides on a yearly basis. And we're provided funding on a yearly basis. Sometimes we're lean, sometimes we're not on construction projects that are going on. Like Greenbrook. You know, they can provide you with $2 million, $3 million a year and you get nothing done. Very little. Or, in this last budget that came out, $20 million was provided.
So how long did it
Okay,
take?
so it depends on what the funding level is from the government.
There's gotta be a medium average as far as, if you take all those projects together, it's gotta be a mean as far as what
Well,
the completion.
the dredging projects in the harbor are expensive, so they give you, you get multi-millions of dollars for
With
the harbor
number eight.
deepening
For
projects.
number 8?
But for the flood risk management projects, and in this case Greenbrook, because that's really the only one that's being constructed right now, it's varied from $2 million all the way up to $20 million. And the average is about $5-6 million a year, if you want to look at
And
it.
how long has it been going on?
Yeah, from start to
Since
finish.
2000.
So it's been,
And the project was scheduled, when we put together the general reevaluation report in the mid-90s, the project was scheduled to be completed within the whole project, which it extends all the way up to the Watchung Mountains. It was scheduled to be completed within 12 years, assuming we got unconstrained funding, the full amounts every year that we could handle. Unconstrained, meaning, you know, if we can go with 30, 40, or $50 million a year, that's what we can handle, that's what we'll build out. But unfortunately, we've only been getting on an average $5-6 million a year. And the project is probably going to take, I'm taking a guess, maybe 35, 40 years to complete. Okay? It all depends on funding.
And the funding is completely federal, or is it still? part
No,
of the
what
state?
we do is, in that case, Well, in the case of this, new projects now are 65% fed, 35% non-fed. In the case of Greenbrook, that's 75%, that's the old cost-sharing agreement. 75% fed, 25% non-fed in the case of Greenbrook. Now, what happens is, and Jersey's been providing funds on the Greenbrook project. I mean, they're continually budgeting that project. And we're at parity right now, 75-25. At one point, they were actually at 30%. So I had to stop requesting funds from Jersey. But now, with the new projects, it's 65-35. And out of that 35% non-fed, the New Jersey DEP will then create a sub-agreement with the local communities. And then they cost share that. I don't know what their exact cost share is. It might still be 75-25. Okay, so that's also cost shared with the local communities, their portion. So the question is how long a project takes to build out. It all depends on federal funding, because that's driving the ship, the federal funding mostly.
So, Robert, what is the total budget for Brownbrooks?
Greenbrook?
Greenbrook.
The Greenbrook project, I believe, is,
Total cost.
right now, it's projected $630 million, roughly, for the Greenbrook project, but that's a huge project. That stretches all the way up into the Watchung Mountains from Bound Brook. And Bound Brook is very close to completion now. It's scheduled to be completed in early part of 2015. And that took from the year 2000 to 2015 to complete.
I guess the other question I would send him is, who would be our contact person from the NJDEP that we would be able to work with on a monthly basis? Very much like you, Robert.
Well, I
Can
think
we
I
get
can, I think I can answer that, but
I think-
that's a question, that's a
Yeah.
question.
Who do you think? Who do you think?
It would either be John Moyle or Tom Slawinski,
Okay. We'll see if they can give us
but
a name.
one of, you know.
Yeah.
I
And
mean, I work with Tom Slawinski on other projects throughout northern Jersey.
I guess, would they be able to be at our monthly meetings?
John was here one time, right?
One time.
I believe that was September of last year.
Yes, one time. Yeah. Anybody in the audience, any ideas come up with questions? Anybody else on the commission have any ideas? If that's it, I think we will put this together in an email, send it to the representatives I have for the NJDP, of course, to Robert and your counterparts that I have the email accounts for, to our representatives, and see if we get some answers. I guess last question, real quick, is will you be at the September meeting?
How about looking forward to seeing you?
Okay, that's it, yeah, at the very end. Looking forward to seeing you at the September meeting. Just a little
Implied quote.
implied, yeah. All right. Okay, for presentations also, for the upcoming September, of course, we're going to be focusing on this. October meeting, I think, is in Raritan, and December's in the county. I think we're going to try to get somebody from the Greenbrook Flood Commission to come and talk to us about their 30 years of experience, 30, almost 40 years of experience. And just listening to you, Rob, it's interesting to hear what they have gone through over the last 14 years. So
Right.
maybe they can give us some insight. And
Well, the chairman is Ray Murray for the Greenbrook, Ray Murray. I can give you his,
okay, can you email it to me?
I can email you his,
Okay, that'd be great.
his email address. And,
See if we can get that to come. And December, what some people have requested for me to look into is try to get FEMA here to discuss insurances and how insurance works and how towns and people get insurance through FEMA and how is it used when floods happen. I'll have to see who I could reach out for FEMA to get that and see if they can make December meeting on that one. That was a suggestion. If anybody else have any other suggestions for presentations or education, please come forward and
You probably want to contact ISO Insurance.
ISO?
Yeah, I'll give you your
Okay.
contact.
Okay, good. And we'll see if we can get them to the county building at the December meeting, and that may be a good for, not even for only flood people, for anybody who's interested in how the insurance works.
I'd just like to make a little suggestion that Henry Wisbowski from Millstone, Main Street, that in future flooding events, that there be better signage, you know, for the road uses, for roads closed. It just seemed to be a big problem this last event, where they don't really, you know, inform the drivers. And there's, you know, I'm right there on Main Street, they're whizzing back and forth and, you know, making U-turns and, you know, there's potential for property damage and things of that nature.
If I understand, if it's not a county road, the towns do it, right, Carl?
Well, we're on a county road.
Are you on a county road?
Yeah, right there on 533.
Okay.
Our problem in Rocky Hill is they put up signs to block people from going over the bridge, and they go right around. And then they get stuck in water and.
Well, this year they were given tickets with this last event, so,
So it sometimes takes more than a sign. It takes
yeah.
Like-
barriers.
The only thing good is the county does send out blasts, an email blast saying what roads are closed, and we're gonna try to get that on our webpage.
Yeah, you get
Yeah.
people from out of town.
Yes.
Like, there's a main traffic light, they could have one of those fold-out signs and just say the road's closed, flooding, you know, something to that.
You're saying instead of a temporary, have a permanent?
Have
gate?
something, yeah, just like they do on the, you know,
Brickstown?
over the causeways.
Mhm.
Something that could be just easily folded out. Maybe Carl could help.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we'll talk to Carl.
Public
And
Works.
and also, we'll add it to our list of grant money, maybe look for grant monies next year to aid in that area.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
The last couple of storms, I don't know if people subscribe to Nixle or not, but the Hillsborough did a great job because I was in work and I could tell you how I can get home by the time I was done. They post through a Nixle service. It's free for the residents. The town's got to pay for it, but a lot of the towns participate in it. And they've really done a good job of keeping people up to date as to, if you're in work and you have to get home, you could literally figure out a route real quick. But
I know the county has sent me information with flooding, and I've tried to post it on Facebook as quick as possible when they send emails to me, so I try to get it on our Facebook page. Well, down the road, I said hopefully we get something like that hooked into our webpage, and we'll work on it down the road.
Yeah, because no doubt if you work outside of Hillsborough and it storms, getting in is a task. You know, but they do a good job of trying to figure you out, you know, so that service has worked out pretty well for me.
All right, so we'll send that email out to our representatives and DEP with those questions on it. All right, old business. Goals and objectives this year. Our main goal and objective was communications and getting more information out. Our webpage is up. That's successful. The Facebook is out. Hopefully, we'll be able to get more on emails and communications and YouTube as our next phase. But hopefully, by the end of this year, our communications has improved tremendously. And I think that was our main goal this year. Reach out to Branchburg to join the commission. Emery, can you actually write a letter as of, say, join the commission as of January 1st, 2015? And if you need, I'll sign if you want me to help you with putting it together, asking them the benefit. That means the Raritan Millstone Rivers will be in Sumter County from beginning to end through the whole county.
I think there's one more town, actually. It's, my geography's a little off. I think it's Bedminster.
Oh,
The river actually goes through it. It's not a boundary.
Oh, okay.
But it's
So
a
like
little
the
more-
South Branch goes through Bedminster? Okay, we'll look it
Yeah,
up.
one of them. It's right at, I think it might actually be the North Branch.
Mhm.
But it comes up and it stops becoming the border, but it becomes through.
Also, when representatives on the Green Book Flood Commission, I'd like to talk to them to see, when they get near end, would they like to be involved with us? Like, say Baum Brook be on our commission too, to basically, if they're fixed and resolved, basically if they're on with us, they could work with us. When we change anything, they'd be able to help us out too. So we'll talk to them and see if they think it's an idea, or they may think it's a bad idea, but we'll present it to the representatives on the Green Book that the rivers touch them too. So like, it's kind of almost, you have South Baum Brook, you have Manville, you have Franklin, Bridgewater, right around Baum Brook, and you don't have Baum Brook on it. So it's kind of, again, one of those scenarios. So we'll reach out and try to get as much representative who the rivers touch on the commission as possible.
If the one letter is addressed to Greg, he's expecting that letter. I met with them already.
Okay.
Not particularly on joining, but I happened to be at a different meeting, and we had discussed it, so he told him to expect it. I actually thought it had gone out already, but
Okay.
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. The next topic, can we set up for raise money? So basically, the way we were set up, originally, we can lobby, we could basically work with towns and the Army Corps and DEP, but we can't take funds and we can't fundraise or help for little projects. We basically have looked into ways that would allow us to restructure little at a minimal cost, that would allow us to create fundraisers and have an account that would allow us to do small projects. Like an example, putting up signs that are permanently swinging in flood areas. Hey, do you want to kind of go over it real quick?
Really, what I think the best option for the commission would be is to become a 501c4, which includes organizations that operate to promote the common good, public welfare type of organizations. And the 501c4 would allow the commission to continue lobbying, but at the same time fundraise as a tax-exempt entity. Unlike many might be familiar with a 501c3 nonprofit organization, you can't lobby as a 501c3. So that would not suit the commission. But a 501c4 would allow you to lobby and fundraise, although the fundraise may not be tax deductible as if you were a 501c3, but you'd be able to still function as a lobbying organization as well as fundraise as a tax exempt entity.
And I think we'll be, to get more attention as the study gets closer, we'll have to lobby you more.
I just would certainly hope that you would check with the county council or municipal council, because they're totally funded by taxpayers' dollars. And I don't know what kind of fundraising they're talking about, and or what you're going to do with the money, but, you know, would that money that you fundraise be in a separate account, or would it commingle with the municipal dollars?
Yes.
You know, I just, because I know from when I was in municipal government now, we're only allowed to give money to certain things and do certain things with it. And if you're gonna commingle those funds with public taxpayers' funds, I just wanna make sure.
No.
The county said it
We're going
was
slow, we're going very slow. We've started looking at this in January. Yeah,
You know, because nobody wants to get in trouble.
right.
And cast any kind of aspersions
Right.
on the work that you do.
Mhm.
You know, public funding is
Right.
Regulated so differently than other funding.
Absolutely. That's why even with the,
Right.
with the grant money, when we got grant money, we had to make sure that we even could accept the grant money.
Right.
So
No,
that,
and look, and that
Yeah.
part, see,
Yeah.
when you start talking about fundraising, you
Mhm.
know, to sell, and it's not so much the fundraising going into the organization for what it's doing, but then the decisions that are made, what to do, like, I mean, are all of a sudden you're gonna be given scholarships for the flood control commission? No, I mean, you know, you have to sometimes bring people back and say,
Right.
you're accepting public tax dollars, and I do this kind of things.
Our-
It's a nice
yeah.
idea, and that's what, you know, other groups always wanna do, the first thing they wanna do is set up a scholarship. Well, guess what? You're taking taxpayers' dollars and that's your funding, you can't make that decision. to do that, so.
Well, luckily scholarship was not in our thoughts.
No,
But, yeah, I know.
I just brought
Yeah,
that up
yeah.
because it was the first thing that hit my head.
But we have been looking at this for a while. We're not jumping into anything. We want to make sure
Just
we,
check with,
yeah.
You know, Kevin, you've got a municipal.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, that's why libraries are the way they are. You have your library board, and then you have the friends of the libraries. You have your animal shelter, you have your friends of the animal shelter. Basically for that reason, because, I mean, I don't know that I want to sit on a board that raises money personally, but I'm an appointment of the board of the governing body here. So what happens is I'm appointed by the governing body here, but that almost should be another board of directors that kind of raises money and spends money and so forth. So, I mean,
Look at it pretty carefully.
So, one of our goals is to do small projects, and the only way we figured a way on could do it is grants, like we just did. We're gonna have, we won a grant, so we're gonna put a camera and a weather station up at the the confluence of the Millstone Raritan. So we knew we can do that. So little projects, we're trying to find ways to, we don't want to be sitting here 30 years from now saying, okay, we're still waiting for the study. We want to be able to do little stuff. And we're trying to figure our way legally to do this, and we're just looking into different ways of doing it. We're not saying we're going to do it, because no matter what happens, we got to go to the county, what we think we're going to do. That would be the first thing. Then we have to go through every town, and then we have to vote on it. So, because it has to be a change to the bylaws. So we're just going to look into seeing, is it feasible? Is it logical? And if not, is there something else that we can do other ways? It looks like grants that would allow us to keep the small projects. So we're trying to find ways to keep that going.
I agree, I'm not saying that
No,
what
no.
you want to do is not a good thing.
No.
But Kevin brought up, that's exactly what
Yep.
happens, there's that one branch, and then the other branch that raises the money is just the project.
Absolutely.
Because when you're mixing public funds,
It
it's
gets,
subject to a little bit stricter rules right now.
yeah.
That's all.
And that's why, I think that's, we went to the attorney first saying, can we do this? How would we do it? So he was presenting all the options. And then the next option, of course, luckily we have,
I would certainly request that, once you make a decision, that it be clear to the county.
oh yeah, definitely. It would be the very first thing we did, because we'd have to decide, should we even, go to the county? And then after that, we have to go to all of our towns. Because it may come back right from the get-go, their town may say, we don't want to be part of a commission that's fundraising. And that would stop it right then and there. So it's very clear, we know where we want to get.
I don't know what you're talking about, like, I see fundraising an extremely different category than receiving grants.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so receiving grants for a commission like this is a great thing.
Mhm.
There's all kinds of them out there.
Right.
Fundraising, selling buttons.
Right.
I see it as two separate items. I don't know, is that what you're saying, it is two separate items?
We were looking into that. We know about grants, and we found out how difficult that is. And we saw little projects out there that we could do for thousands of dollars. So we're still going to go look at the grants. We know we're not going to slow on that. We were just wondering, is there other ways for us to do small projects? It may come back, no, there is no other way, and then we'll focus more back on grants. So we're just trying to look at every door, I guess.
because right now, as a group, I mean, we're not an autonomous body as a group. So what happens is, if my governing body says, no, we don't want you to fundraise, well, I just resign from the old group, which is, what I'm saying, which is tough, because what happens now is, as far as an organization, we're just appointees from municipalities. We're not autonomous from any of our governing bodies. So if the governing body's saying, hey, listen, we're going to write out that $500 check, and the county's going to write out the $5,000 check, and this is the way we want you to exist, and then if you kind of don't do what we're looking for you to do, we're just going to appoint you and get someone else there. So definitely, it is an issue, because I think that the towns are going to want to know, because right now they look at this as an arm to help each town. But if it becomes perceived as they're raising money to do their own activities, those activities may not be embraced by the town that you're appointed by.
Right.
Some of us are in positions, the mayors could kind of control their own. I don't get to do that. So I mean, if my governing body said, hey, no, we don't want you fundraising, then you have one less entity. So,
And what might come out of this is a small group of citizens per town who concerned about flooding. And they do, like you said, they do their own fundraising.
Yeah.
Good example is the cleaning of the rivers. They're not really part of the flood commission, but they're partners of us. I consider us very good partners with them. If they did fundraising for cleaning the rivers, we'd definitely say, wow, we're 100% behind them at least. So that may be end up the direction we go, that we're just partners with saying, yeah, we're friends of cleaning the rivers or cleaning out the rivers. So there's a lot of ways to go, and we're going to turn over every stone. And luckily, everybody on this commission is very upfront when they represent their town, and I hear it quite clear. And I have to go back to my town, and I'm not saying even remotely my town would say that. So before it even got that far, the very first thing is we got to have something to look at. Then once we have something to look at, we go to the county, and they may say, "No, this doesn't make sense," and then it's over with. So but we're always trying to find ways to help. I think that's the key. But the grants is a great way. We love that way too. All right, thanks, Dave. And we'll get together and see, and then maybe we'll take a ride to the county and see if what they think. And it might be over before it starts, but at least we give other options and say, and we may not be even in the right tax anyway bracket. We may have to change anyway, just for the normal process. But we did work fine with the grant money, so that worked out fine.
Just on the flip side, a C4 is allowed to accept money from municipalities, even though they're allowed to lobby?
In terms of in terms of taxpayer money?
That's correct.
They can be I believe quasi-governmental, and they could be consisted of, because they're almost like social welfare organizations.
Okay.
But I think the question will have to go, and I agree, we'll have to go to the county council. I think the answer is, can the commission fundraise? The answer is, I think they can under the scheme, and then the next step would be county council and county.
Yeah, because basically we don't want to do anything. We were almost this year to try to do a Duke's Estate. We're trying to find some fun ways to fund money for a small project. We thought that was the way to do it. But before we did that, we went to our lawyer, and that's why this whole thing started. We were trying to reach out to help people, and we want to make sure we do it legally. Okay, and Dave, we'll get down.
As far as accepting donations, is that?
And I know, if somebody wanted to, that's the questions how it started, actually. Somebody wanted to donate for us to do a project to do something to prevent flooding, or a cleanup project.
So that's on our agenda every month.
Every month, right. Donations, zero. And we got to go back to the county and say, okay, if somebody wants to donate to a project, what do we say? No, we can't do that. But a grant is a donation.
I don't think the commission itself, correct me if I'm wrong, actually has its own separate tax exempt status.
That's correct. We don't have.
So I think if someone donates to the commission themselves, it's hard to say that donation is tax exempt, and I think that's what drives this discussion.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. We seem like even when we started going into grants, they put us, okay, we don't have our own tax, maybe we need to change our tax number to make it more feasible. If we go after more grants, we got to make sure we're in a position that we can take those money. And if Duke's Farms wanted to give a donation for a project to us, a grant, can we take that? How would we take that? So there's a lot of very good questions there.
I think in that particular situation, I mean, I would always defer to someone else on the opinion on that, but a municipality could take that donation and then convey it to the group. So if someone wanted government tax deductibility, but we all know, really everybody feels their taxes pay for government, so no one's ever going to donate to government per se, but they would literally donate to like a Manville or Somerville, and then basically we'd do some sort of resolution accepting additional funds from that particular municipality.
And I think we were going to do that with Hillsborough the very first time we went for our first
That's
grant.
correct, yeah.
Hillsborough was going to be the person that would receive the grant and then hand it off to us. So we just want to make sure whatever we do, of course, is legal. That's the most important thing. But when we do, we may have to add it to our bylaws. For any donation, we have to partner with a municipality. Yeah, but I want to make sure whatever we decide, we do it properly, legally, and it's in our bylaws. And I think right now, it's kind of vague, and I don't like vague. So, All right, good discussion, and we'll have to delve into a little more. We'll have to see, talk with the county. They maybe give us a better understanding. Letters to our representatives again. We're going to send more letters out to all of our representatives again. As you know, Congressman Holt is leaving at the end of the year, so there's going to be a new person in that seat. So we know who are the two candidates. We may send a letter to both of them and say, oh, by the way, years Congressman Holt has been a great ally for us. We'd like whoever gets this position sit down with us even before the election and say, this is what we need help in. So maybe with our legislation group, maybe we want to reach out to the two candidates.
Absolutely.
Because the primary is over, so we know who they are. Again, set up the meeting. Well, as soon as we get that release, Robert, get it to us, and Carl will set up the meetings as fast as possible with them. With that. The only other thing that we're going to send out, I'm trying to think the best way to do it, Kevin, maybe. We want to send out the PowerPoint presentation to all the mayor and councils, or I guess to the borough administrators.
I would suggest if you get it to me, if I haven't seen the final, I saw all the dialogue back and forth the last couple of days, but I know there was some final changes.
Yeah.
But if you get it to me, I'll be responsible for making sure all the administrators have it.
Okay.
The key is not just them to have it, I like to get it on their meeting so they can actually show it.
Okay.
Because I just don't want it to be a notice on their list. So I mean, listen, their schedules may be full or not full, depending on the towns. So I'll try to work with them to make sure they could show. And if listen, if they want one of us to be there to show it, we'll have to make that
Definitely.
accommodation.
If anybody would like, I mean, you tell me at a town council meeting, I'll gladly go and do the presentation if they want it. But I'll send it to you tomorrow, presentation.
Sure.
It went quite well. Our first one was the freeholder board. I think it went well. We made some slight changes to get more detail on some of the storms and some of the information on it. But I think it'd be quite informative if we could present to every town council meeting. I'd gladly do that. You're right. It'd be great if we could do that.
Okay.
I'll send it to you tomorrow. The last part is we gave out last month 3 certificates of gratification to people that have helped us over this last year. In the September meeting, I'd like to propose we do 3 more. It really doesn't cost us anything. Anne-Marie does a great job with them. They look really nice. I'll send out an email. If you guys have any names of, I'll tell you one name I'm going to present right away is Dr. Shaw from Rutgers. She was there day one with us, backing us. She was the person that kind of got our foundation, and I really think we need to send her one. But if you have anybody else that you could think of that was out there helping us from the get-go, please tell us. It could be a organization, it could be a firm, it could be a politician, it could be a teacher. So if anybody has that, please send it to us. We'll try to have 3 for September, and we'll inform them of it.
How about Rush Holt?
That's was going to be my second one right behind that. I didn't want to hog up all the lists, but yes, he's been our ally from day one. And there's a third one is Senator Bateman has been out there fighting for us on the state level from the beginning. So those 3 I would like to recommend, but if somebody else has other names, we'll gladly do it. But all 3 of those persons have been a tremendous ally for us the first 2 years. And there's some others, so I don't want to make it too much, but if we could do like twice a year, give out recognition to organizations and groups that have been a tremendous help to us, it would be, I think, a good motion. And also, at one point, I'd like to show appreciation to all of you who come every week, every month, and do a lot of work behind the scenes. I don't know if we've said it enough, but I'd like to say thank you here and now. That it's a tremendous effort to sit here to know how much work is done every day behind the scenes just for this monthly meeting. So personally, I'd like to thank all of you. New business. Good news. Setting up camera and weather station at American Water. As you know, we won a $10,000 grant, and we are setting up our earth cam and our weather station at the confluence of the Millstone Raritan. It's right where the fish ladder is. I talked to the security at American Water. Thank goodness I did, because what we were planning to do, he kind of said, well, there's a 10-foot tower there. You better put it higher than that, because that's been underwater. So we got to make sure we're going to put like an 8-foot pole on a 10-foot tower so the camera never will get wet. But hopefully we'll be visiting with them over the summer. If anybody would like to come with me and see where the camera's going and the weather station, I'll send out the date. And this is great information. It'll be going to our webpage, so people can actually, storm is coming, and we're going to have it's basically a board with feet on it, and the camera's looking at it, and they see the water go up anywhere in the county, anywhere in the world, basically. You go there and see if the water is rising. And also, we'll give you statistics. It's raining 2 inches a minute. Wind is this, and all that information. And the other good news is we'll be collecting data points. So we'll be able to collect our own data, so with it. The nearest river gauge is Main Street, Manville, Finder, and is that right, Carl?
Yeah.
That's the closest one, right? That and the dam, the Calco Dam, I guess, is the other way.
Right.
Yeah, so between those two, we'll try to add those data to that too. But American Water is giving us that money, and mostly we're going to be working with them to set that up. And I hopefully have that up by September. I think that's going to be absolute great to have that camera down there. The police stations and people throughout the area can actually look right in and see the water level on the rivers. Any other new business? No? I'd like to have a motion to open public portion.
Make a motion.
Somerville, second?
Montgomery.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. Please come to the mic, and anybody announce your name and where you live, and whatever comments. Go down there, Dan, and call?
I am. Dan Dixon, 34 North River Street, Hillsborough, New Jersey. Chairman and Commission, it's been brought to my attention, there's been a class action settlement with Bank of America and flood insurance that was purchased through Bank of America. Excuse me. All persons that were with Bank of America, Countrywide Home Loans, Countrywide Loan Services, after January 1st, 2007, and before April 4th, 2014, could possibly have a settlement coming to them if they had a line of credit, reverse mortgage, loans secured by Shores and a Cooperative Housing Association. So I just wanted to communicate that.
So basically, if they had home insurance, they could actually be in line for getting money?
No, basically, from my understanding, is that Bank of America went out and purchased flood insurance for those who had a mortgage, a reverse mortgage, a line of credit on their house. Because my understanding is that the amount which they took out was more than what the actual flood insurance would be paid out. So therefore, they overcharged those consumers, and now there's a settlement to correct that. My also understanding is the Bank of America denies any wrongdoing.
Hence the settlement.
Is there a document that we can attach to our webpage as an?
There is. And my concern is a lot of people in that time in Manville and all of our areas have had possibly a mortgage with Bank of America, and they're entitled to settlement, and they're not aware of it due to the fact that they can't be contacted.
Do you have a link that I could put out on Facebook or something that has this information?
We'll get together, Chairman.
Okay, good.
We'll put something together.
Yeah, that way we can share the information. It's good information to share with people.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. Anybody else in the audience have a topic? When is the next cleanup?
Saturday,
Saturday. Where at?
up by
Flemington?
Flemington.
Okay. Any parking spot anywhere special?
We will be meeting at the Darts Mill pull-off at 8 a.m. That's near the old Limpton facility on 523,
Yep.
right next to the river.
Okay. If you want, you can email me or email us. We put it on our Facebook page and send it out to people. We'll share it with you. All right. Anybody else? All right. Motion to close public portion?
Your motion?
Somerville, second.
Millstone?
Millstone, all in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Any comments from the commission?
I don't think it's been mentioned, but this meeting is being taped, and it's going to be on the Franklin Township YouTube channel. So if you want to revisit this meeting, feel free. And, get it to the different towns so they can post it on their websites and put a link to it, I would suggest.
That's our first test. I guess we'll see if we can get it on our webpage. See if we can do the YouTube connection. All right. Thank you. And I would like to personally thank Franklin. Again, being a great host here. Lovely building. Everything works very well here. It's nice having a meeting in a room this big. It's really entertaining, and everything so well organized with the screen and everything. I thank you again for having us. With that, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Somerville, I need a second.
Second?
Montgomery, all in favor? Oh, all in favor, no, Rocky Hill, what was your, oh, sorry, no, Millstone? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion ends 8:25.